Hello knitters, Faylin from Strand Knitting Studio in San Clemente, California. We made it through this last rain and it's sunny today, so nice. Today I'm going to be what I'm wearing, what's on my needles, still on my needles, and some classes and a tutorial, so stay tuned. Copenhagen calling. Okay, it's a cowl. I did this on a worsted wool, and so this is like a really warm version of it. It's written for a DK. What's really cool about this is, you can't see this, but there's ribbing here, knit 2, purl 2. You have striping. This is ferrule or stranded striping, and then a touch of lace. So if you wanted to learn some different things, this is a really good piece to do, because it's got, lace, it's got some of everything in it. And but DK is, which, dream, but we have lots of DKs. Any yarn, just if you love it, knit it out of that. It's a cowl, so it doesn't really matter what yarn it is, but there it is, Copenhagen calling, and this is Isabel Kramer. Okay, my pink sweater still on my needles. I've almost got one sleeve done. Then another sleeve and I'll be done. So I'm hoping to get that done sooner than later. But I had a lot of people's repairs. I've been repairing. I spent the whole weekend repairing stuff. So that I didn't get to know my pink things too long. Anyways, that's what's on my needles. It's still there. Class is coming up. So I had to reschedule the sock class. Rain sort of got in our way. And so I've now put it on Wednesday, the 21st. So that's Wednesday, the 21st, 4 to 6. And again, if you didn't see it already, we need a baby sock, and this is going to be a toe-up sock. So you're going to learn the toe-up, how to cast that on, and then it's going to be a German short row heel. So the heel and the toe will be different than the sock, but this is the size sock you're getting. So again, a DK, sport DK weight, you're on a 4 or 5, something like that. But mostly you can get from here to here in a class. So you'll get at least all the important parts done. And again, you're going to be like, oh my God. Your mind's going to be like messed up, and you're going, I don't know if I can knit socks. Knit at least 3 of these. Knit at least 3 of these before you start to decide, and you may even need to knit 4 or 5 of them, of these single socks. Because it's a lot. There's a lot going on there, but it's also very rhythmic. Like once you sort of get it, it's like there's a definite rhythm to it, but you have to do it enough times to get past the techniques and into the rhythm. So you have to give yourself a chance. So one baby sock does not tell you whether you're going to love this or not, I guarantee. And the next class upcoming is Ravelry. So learning how to use Ravelry, seeing what's all in Ravelry, and what all you can do with this this database. It's a database that everybody's constantly adding to. There's like millions, hundreds of thousands of knitters across the entire world that contribute, have their projects on here. It's really quite an amazing place. You can find everything here. You can buy everything. If you need to buy a pattern, it's there. It stores in your library, so you don't have to think about where it's good. Did I buy it on Etsy? Did I buy it on, what did I buy it on? Anything you buy, anything you find on any other site, go to Ravelry first and see if you can get it there, because then it gets stored in your library and you know exactly where it is. And it's still through the person who wrote the pattern. You're buying it from them still. And it just gets a cut, but Etsy gets a cut. Everybody gets a cut when you're selling something on their site. So Ravelry still is a really good idea as far as getting your patterns in one place if you buy patterns, or free patterns, even free patterns. But anyways, there's so much in there. I can't even begin to talk about it. And so this is going to be a Zoom class. So that way I will have my screen up on your device and you can see what I'm doing. It's really good if you have 2 devices, one you can look at and one that you can maneuver yourself. Go on Ravelry and do your thing. You do need an account. It's free, but before class, sign up, get the account, make sure you can get in, get your password, because I can't help you much on that. So make sure you can get into it. And yeah, and so it's going to be on Zoom, and it's going to be from 4 to 6, Wednesday the 28th. So Wednesday the 28th, which is the day before Leap Year Day. There's going to be a 29th this year. So February 28th, 4 to 6 on a Wednesday on Zoom in your own home. I'll be in my own home. We'll be in our houses and playing on Ravelry and learning all that you can do and what you can keep track of and all that kind of stuff. So those are the 2 classes coming up besides all the workshops. So I'm going to be talking about this Noro sweater that we've knitted. And so the story behind this sweater is Christine found this picture and loved this idea, this randomly striped sweater. And as you can see, it's very randomly. Colors change in the middle of the front, and it's totally random. And then we had a client come in with the same picture saying, I want to do that. And we were like, oh, well, we were just talking about that. So we set her all up. Hers turned out gorgeous. And here's a picture of hers. And but she did the changing, you know, at the beginning and ends of rows. Still, you did several rows, but then you always change your yarn at the beginning of a row. And so that you didn't, so you didn't have color changing in the middle. Now, that is a total preference. Like, if you love the way this other one goes, that's like just total random stripiness, then we can do that. If you want to do it more like what we did, we can do that. So it was 10 skeins of carry-on. Here's our carry-on. I used, and I think she did too, 8 different colors. 2 of the colors we had 2 skeins of. For her, it was at least 2 skeins of that neutral, because she has a lot of neutral in hers. Mine was one of the ones that had more of the colors, I think. That was my 2 skeins of a color. And you can go 10 different colors, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we only have 8 colors. 8 colors, double 2 of them. So now, to not have all the ends, because that's the thing on this, like I hadn't knit it yet, so she just was cutting, and oh my God, the ends, tons of ends. So of course I didn't want to do that. So I have several different ideas on how to do it where you don't weave any ends in. It's done, it's beautiful, the sides are great. And so that's what the tutorial is about. So I'm going to show you different joins, different ideas on how to play with the colors, depending on where you are at as far as how fun it is to play with colors or not, because you can easily just do a striped sweater out of Noro because the color changes by itself and it's all good. So, but anyways, I talk about all that in the tutorial. So I'm gonna take you over to the tutorial. Okay, so here's the 3 different ways that you can join these multiple yarns together without having tails to weave in. There's also a knitting it in solution, but today I'm just going to show you different ways to actually join the yarns. So you can do this like I just you know, started knitting with the color and decided how many rows I was going to do, or maybe until it changed color or something. You can very easily edit Noro colors, because as you see, you know, you can take out each of these little colors and make their own little ball of it. And that helps. Just, okay, I'm doing this one, okay, I'm doing this one. But you also don't want, well, you may not want, you want different numbers of stripes in one color. So different numbers of rows in one color, so that you have fat sections and skinny sections and everything. And it's very random. It's really hard not to overthink this. And that's the challenge and sort of the fun of all this, is not to overthink it. Don't overthink the colors, because you've picked the colors. Everything looks fine. It's all going to be good. There's no wrong answer to this. But we just have to let go. We have to let go and free our inner little artistic person who's in everybody, you know, to some degree, but just like our own, like, I'm just going to play with this. I'm playing with this. I'm not going to, like, you know, yeah, I'm playing with this. So here's several different ways to play with it, and one might be good for you. All right, first is just joining the yarn so you're not weaving in all the ends, because forget that. That's not going to help. So these are wool. They're not treated, so they will felt. So you're going to pull apart the strand, and this is a single ply, so it pulls apart a little bit differently than this, but it still pulls apart. So I've got that, And I'm gonna join it to this one. So I'm gonna pull this one apart. Like that. So it's like an inch and a half, 2 inches of pulled apart. It's pulled apart. Okay, then we're going to layer, you know, every other one here, put them in an order like that. And then this is called spit splicing. I'll let you try to decide what that is exactly, but I'm gonna use a cup of water because I don't wanna gross anybody out. So you're gonna put it in your hand, you're gonna get it wet. And then you're rubbing it together, and you're rubbing really fast and you're pressing really hard. You're wanting to make heat in between your hands so that this actually felts. That. Okay, there we go. Keep working on it until it's pretty well melded in. And then it's done. Now, this one does it a little messy. This is not a good candidate for felting. These are a good candidate for felting. They felt very easily. They're not plied. It felts right away. So these are a good candidate. But that is also what it looks like. So you got to remember, this is like the end and beginning of your row. So it's going to end up like, you know, in your row like this. And you're sewing the seams. So for the most part, you won't see this, you know. And if you see a little bit of it, who cares? It's all stripy. Nobody's going to notice anything. So that's one option, is the felting option. Okay, second option is called the magic knot. So you lay your 2 strands opposite each other like this, and you take one, you go over that one. Then you're going to go under and under, so it's now under and under. And then you're going to go into this loop, and you're going to pull the opposite direction of this one. So you're going to go, and that's the over again, and you're going to pull that direction. So the direction it's already facing. And then you do the same thing with this. Now this slips. If you need a little bit more yarn, you can get it. So it's over, under, and then over and into the loop. And again, you're pulling it away from where the pink end is. And there you go. Those are done. Now you pull it right together and pull hard on this. If it comes out, you did the loopy thing wrong. If it doesn't come out, you did it right. And then you can actually, I don't know why this works, but it works. Actually cut this like right at the knot. You don't have to leave any tails because that's the whole point. You know, you're just gonna knit this in. And again, now this is gonna be at the edge of your sweater, so you'll never see it. I use this one actually quite a lot. And sort of what you have to do is you're gonna stop like, I don't know, 10 stitches before, 6 stitches before the end of your row, and you're gonna do this, then you'll finish your row, and then when you start the next row, you'll be starting with this color. So that's the magic knot. It works really, really well. If you're at all nervous, again, this is gonna be sewn into the seam, but if you're all nervous at all, I mean, I'm not, but you know, a dot, a fray check, or nail polish, clear nail polish, or I wouldn't use super glue, that's too busy. So fray check or nail polish will, you know, just a dot there so that it doesn't, but it ain't going nowhere. This ain't going nowhere. Okay, so that's join number 2. Here's join number 3. It's a Russian join, So you're gonna put your needle in. So remember, don't try to do this because forget that. You also need a sharp needle. So they got a big eye, it's a tapestry, but it is a sharp needle. You need a sharp needle. And so you're gonna put it there. See how you can barely see the gray yarn? It's there, but you can't really see it. And then this just slides in. Most of the time. Okay, so, okay. So now I'm gonna put this yarn across this. I have to do this the other way because I'm wrong-handed here. Okay, so this is going across. This is going across this, and you're gonna do that. So you've got them looped. They've got to be looped like this, okay? They're gonna be looped. Have this to the very end of your tail, sort of like that, so that it's at the, you know, end of your tail, but not so much that you can't like keep hold of it. And then as soon as you can with the length of your needle, you're going to start piercing into this yarn. And so you're just gonna go in and out. I sometimes go around and under, or you go in, out, out, in, and out, and for like an inch or two. And then you're going to pull this all through. Oops, that one's not there. And now that is joined. See how that is? You will cut this off. Now you're gonna do the same thing to the other side. So you're gonna go get it into your, this one's just a little bit on the small side. Should have picked my other one. Yes, just a little bit on the small side, but I can still do it. I can still do it. I am the boss of my knitting. All right, so now I'm gonna do it on this one. So now I'm going pink to pink. And again, I wanna get, as soon as I can get my needle down on the thread, that's where I'm gonna start. And in and out. In and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Okay, about like that. Sort of a needle's worth. And now you just pull the whole thing through. And it's easier if you're grabbing on down here at the base of the needle and not at the top, at least to start with, until it pulls through. Okay, there's that. And then you cut your tail off. You cut your other tail off. And that's that join. And this is a pretty nifty join, and it's pretty neat. Okay, and again, it's, you know, the yarn is thicker, but again, this is your seam. So this is like maybe 2 stitches worth of yarn on here, and that's it. So it's all in your seam. So those are the 3 different joins you can do. So now let's talk about the colors and how different ways you can manage the colors. So there's several different tricky, fun ways you could do this. One is you could have a pair of dice, and you roll the dice, and whatever number comes up, that's how many rows you're gonna knit, which sort of takes the guesswork out for you. It'll be totally random, it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's one way. Second way is to actually make what's been called a magic ball, where you measure out your lengths, and then you do one of these joins, and you just join a ball's worth of this. So let's say I'm measuring out my length, so I would know how much of my sweater, how wide my sweater is. Do I want 1 row? Let's see, actually, it's three lengths equal 1 row. So this would be 1, because that'd be 1 row. This would be almost 2 rows, but since I'm at the end of my pink, I'm gonna stop there. And then this is gonna be at the beginning of my thing here. So I roll against my fingers like that. I'm gonna roll around this. And now I can start squishing it into a ball. Into a ball. And my gray is joined, and I haven't cut it. So now I'm gonna measure out my gray. Let's say I want 6 rows. There's 1, and then you could also, like this, from your nose to your thing is also, like, that's basically what this is. So I would figure out what that is, how much, you know, where you can measure with your, you can't see me, your nose, see? Anyways, this hand's on my nose, this hand's as far out as I can get it. This one's out as far as I can get it. That's a length. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I would cut it. I'm not gonna cut it. I would cut it. I would do a join, and then I'd pick another skein. And I would do the same thing. And now I would roll up my gray. So I'd roll up my gray. And you will have a ball that just will automatically change pretty close to the seams. Now, it may not be exact, and you may need to do, like, if it goes way off for some reason, then you may want to, you know, cut a little bit at the seam so that you get the change at the seam. I'm going to show you the original picture that Christine found that got us into this. I'll show you that picture, because that one, they changed, the colors changed wherever the colors change. If it's in the middle of the front, it's in the middle of the front. So, and that's a look, you know, and so you can sort of decide what you do. You can be totally random like that, and just, it doesn't matter. And you just make lengths of yarn, and it doesn't matter. Okay, so now I have a gray. Then I would join these 2 together, and then I'd do so many of these, okay? And the third way to do this is also to to split out the colors. So make little balls of 1 or 2 colors and just make you're gonna knit that until you're done with a row, okay? The only thing wrong with that possibly is you may end up with a bit of, a lot of waste yarn, but I ended up with a lot of little balls still left over on mine. And I used the 10 skeins. So there's 10 skeins. There was, I think, 8 colors and 2 skeins of 2 different colors. That had more of the colors in it, because there's a lot of dark. Like his one has a lot of dark. This is actually a lot of neutral, but it's not a lot of color, where this has, you know, tons of color. So these were pretty much gone. The ones that were more neutral and had a bunch of dark, I had a bunch of dark ones left. But you may love the dark ones and you have no dark ones left. So, and then the third way to do this is just to knit. So you could knit like this one and this one together. You can knit any of them together. And you could start one, and then every time you come back to the right side row, you pick up another string and you go. Every time you come up to the right side row, you pick up another string and you go. And so the colors will move because this yarn does that work, but they'll still be interrupted. And then you could change out a color, you know, a skein, and do this one and take this one out for a while and do this one for a while. And again, you're not really caring about the colors so much, and it's an easier way just to get it done without messing around with all the different colored stripes. And then so here's an example of using 2 different colorways and changing it like every 2 rows. You can see how it moves a lot more. There's a lot more going on than if you just use the one. But still, it's so simple, and you're just picking up the color, the yarn that's hanging out at the beginning of every knit row that you are doing. And then you can also just do it with one color. Like if you love this color, I mean, I think this is gorgeous. It's got this maroon color in here, but it's very neutral, but it's got those pops. You can just knit it straight with one of these. Or you can do one of these, and about halfway through this, you do this one. About halfway through this, you do this one. You can be that simple about it, all right? It does not have to be as complicated. It just depends on how much fun this is for you. So for me, it was really fun to mess around with the stripes the way I did it. But for some people, that'll drive them bananas. So you have to know yourself and then decide what would be fun for you. Would it be fun just to knit? I mean, this is just a knit a row, purl a row, rectangles. Super easy sweater. And if you just want to knit and watch the colors go, by all means do that. It'll be gorgeous. I mean, all Noro sweaters are knit with one color usually, and they're gorgeous. So that's an option. Having 1 or 2 colors that you sort of alternate every 2 or 4 rows. You could even go to 6 rows, and you've got maybe 3 colors. That's great. And there's really no thinking about it. Once you get it started, and you just do your thing. And you can go all the way to where you're, you know, making magic balls or tearing out color sections or whatever. So this can be anything you want it to be. Mostly do not, if you know certain things are going to drive you crazy, don't go there. Just do what you love to do, how you love to do it, and just do that, because there's no wrong answer. They'll be gorgeous. It's a fun sweater. It's a really wearable sweater. It's a drop sleeve. It's rectangles, so there's no big deal in the sweater. It's on a 10.5. I pushed it way up so that it was light and drapey and not real firm like a sweater fabric usually is. So I put it up on a 10.5. So it's on a 10.5, and that goes really fast. So yeah, so come in, talk to us about it. You know, decide what you want to do. We have lots of, you can do this with any yarns, obviously, but the Noros are just fun because you just have so many colors to work with. But you could obviously do it with anything. So that's that, and I hope to see you in the studio real soon. Bye.